coming out hot. Now here we are, and the lights are shining bright. Always been, yeah, WAAY 31 is rocking all right.
Big game Friday night. Max Cohan, Trevor Denton.
It's the McCurry Van and Car Rental. Big game Friday night.
It's the battle for Madison. Bob Jones and James Clemens meet for the 14th time in the Madison Bowl. A clear choice for our big game Friday night game of the week.
And here in the Rocket City, an old-time rivalry, Huntsville and Grissom had played every year since 1971. They keep their feud going in our rivalry game of the week.
Hello and welcome into the Week 2 edition of Big Game Friday Night. I'm Max Cohan and he's Trevor Denton. And yes, we both recently got haircuts.
Big update there.
Yeah, I think a lot of people were wondering, honestly.
Well, you got the tight fade, too, on the sides. We'll talk about that later.
Yeah, we'll talk later.
Stuff to talk about now.
We've seen some incredible games through the first 2 weeks of the season, but now we get into the good stuff. Region play and rivalry games.
Yeah, and for the last several years, one area rivalry keeps getting circled on the calendar every September. It's known as the Madison Bowl. 3 of the last 4 matchups between Bob Jones and James Clemens were one-score thrillers, and with the Pats and Jets both entering the night undefeated, a clear choice for our game of the week. Kelvis White's Patriots seem to play with a different type of fire today. Jacoby Gill was actually James Clemens' quarterback last year. Now he's slinging passes for the Pats. What a pickup that was. A dot for a touchdown to Chris Katarina. Go ahead and game on them. Bob Jones back on offense this time. They launch a ground attack on the Jets. Jaden Rice dancing into the end zone for another score. Bob Jones in charge in this one. We expected a close game, but hey, we're not always right. Romeo Washington racing in for yet another unanswered score. James Clemens needing a point at this point. How about getting one on defense? Gill's pass tipped in the air twice. Malik Hardy picks it off and returns it past midfield. Definitely a defensive play of the week nominee, but if we had a performance of the week award, it would go to Bob Jones. Everything worked for those guys as they win this one 54-7.
Well, it feels good. I'm happy for our kids. I'm happy for our seniors. I'm happy for the Bob Jones alumni. And to win it the way we did, I think we didn't leave any doubt. Again, I'm just proud of my team, man. They executed everything we worked on all week, and we came out big.
What a statement made by the Patriots. That's the largest margin of victory for Bob Jones since their first meeting with James Clemens in 2012. That year, they won 72-0.
Absurd.
Let's check in on another big 7A Region 4 meeting out in Harvest. It's Austin and Sparkman. These teams have played some wild games recently, with 2 of their last 3 meetings going to overtime, but they wouldn't need any extra football tonight. There were lots of touchdowns, most of them scored by the Black Bears. Austin's Landon Baker making it look easy, but the home team deserves some style points for this next one. Chad Reynolds reels it in, then finds a way to stay on his feet for the score. Great touchdown, but it would be the only one for the Sens tonight. Austin gets it done on the road with the 29-7 win over Sparkman.
For the last several years, Albertville has been the team that everybody in the region beats up on. The Aggies haven't won a game since August of 2022, but veteran head coach Adam Weingarten is hoping he could steer his team back in the win column. The Falcons have never lost ever to Florence, but both teams entered the night 0-2 on the year. We jump in with the Falcons up 3 scores. Florence tacking on to that. Cade Davis lobs one to Cavante Green. Nasty grab there in the corner of the end zone. Falcons take a 4-score lead, and you're going to have to give the camera some love after that one. But Florence didn't play a perfect game. Davis has trouble with the snap. Peyton Jones gets to the bottom of the pile and recovers it for the Aggies. Albertville would then turn the turnover into points. So they're definitely an improved team. Handoff to E.C. Sarant, the sophomore, hurtling into the end zone with a little hop, skip, and a jump. So the Aggies don't get shut out today. They also don't get the win. Florence, 28-8.
Let's move down to 6A Region 8. It's Mae Jemison and Hazel Green at Joe Davis Stadium. The Jags off to an 0-2 start, still searching for their first double-digit points in the season. And on their first possession, Mae Jemison would march all the way down the field without attempting a single pass. They'd punch it in for sixes to Berry, and more Langford fights his way in to get the score and started at 6-0. Now looking to respond, Fred Farrier's squad says, let's look to the skies. Quarterback Austin Barrett drops back and tells Xavier Miller to go deep. The senior hauls it in for a big first down, but the Trojans would turn it over on downs. So the Jags are going to take over again, and you know they're going to keep it on the ground. This time, Darius Burwell takes it around the left side, finds some space. Now it's a foot race, and Malcolm Williams is able to make the touchdown-saving tackle inside the 5. But head coach Rico White says, hey, let's run it again. And Burwell is going to get the job done. The South Alabama commit making it look easy as he crosses the goal line. The Jags would convert on the 2-point conversion and take a 14-0 lead. And in the end, the Jags win this one, 14-6. Let's head west to check in on the nation's longest losing streak. The Columbia Eagles taking on the Muscle Shoals Trojans, still searching for their first win under Sammy Coates. But tonight won't be the night the streak ends. Muscle Shoals beat them 49-6, and the Eagles have now lost 94 consecutive games. Over in Boaz, new head coach Luke Pruitt has the Pirates off to a hot start with wins in his first 2 games with the program, but things got a little bit tougher tonight.
That's right, 5A Region 8 play kicks off with Scottsboro at Boaz. The Pirates' last one in the series came back in 2012.
Boaz's freshman quarterback Bo Bennett looking to go long, but throws it just a bit too far and right into the hands of Jake Turner. Scottsboro picks it off and takes over. Now the Cats get running. Brandon Edmondson Jr. takes the handoff and leaves the Pirates in his dust on a trip for a quick 6. Out of sight and on the scoreboard. But Boaz looking to respond. And you know what? The quarterback's a freshman. Maybe he hasn't learned his lesson yet. Bennett with another floater, and Connor Vaden comes down with the INT and then gets a pretty solid return. And the Cats would cash in again. You got to stick with the guy who's getting it done. It's Edmondson again, and number 2 is back in the end zone as Tyler Van's squad gets the dub, 41-7.
We've got a big one in 5A Region 7, a matchup between undefeated Ardmore and Priceville. We jump into a scoreless game. Well, at least it was a scoreless game. The Tigers fake the run. Jack Rush all alone rushing into the end zone. The tight end with the first score of the night. But the Bulldogs would bite back in a goal-to-go situation. Priceville's quarterback Sheldon Graham calls his own number. We're tied up at 7. But here's where things get really fun. The Dogs kick it back to the Tigers. Xavion Hawthorne is going to reel it in around the 2-yard line. Surely that's too far to score a touchdown. I mean, that would be outlandish. Oh my gosh, he got through the first line of defense. He's still going past the kicker. Kiss him goodbye. Off to Pater, a 98-yard touchdown. He did it the hard way, but they couldn't do the easy part and make the extra point afterwards. Priceville would eventually grab a 1-point lead on a Jack Eubank score, and they'd never look back from that point in a 49-13 W. Now, we've seen some great plays already tonight, including that kickoff return for a touchdown, which was unbelievable, but time for our first time out of the night.
Yeah, don't go anywhere. We've got our rivalry game of the week coming up right after the break.
the McCurry Van and Car Rental. Big Game Friday night.
Never get tired of that song.
Yeah, it's great.
I learned how to snap recently. Big development for me. Another big development is another edition of Big Game Friday night. One of the best parts of region play is those heated rivalry games, especially when you're in the same school district. Everybody kind of knows each other.
Yeah, when Huntsville and Grissom first played, Rod Stewart's Maggie May held the top spot on the Billboard chart. You might want to snap to that one.
Yeah.
That was November of 1971. A lot has changed since then, but the rivalry hasn't. Let's send things out to Milton Frank Stadium, where Paige Meyer has our look at the battle for the Rocket City.
In tonight's Rocket City rivalry, it was a catfight between the Tigers and the Panthers. Here at Milton Frank Stadium, defense was definitely on display. These two teams have been playing each other for decades. Both squads came into tonight's game looking for one more win. The Panthers start us off this time, but after a few drives come up empty, the ball is now in the Tigers' hands. But despite their efforts, the well is dry tonight, building up suspense for Grissom fans as Huntsville starts inching towards the end zone. Wyatt Smith searching for an opening here. He hits Brian Grissom in stride as he turns to run into the end zone. That play putting the first points up on the scoreboard of the night. The Tigers now putting up a strong effort in response as Patrick Bailey launches the ball like his life depends on it, with Quan Washington reeling it in. But before Grissom could do it again, Huntsville's defense showed up. Smith is sacked by a herd of Panthers, putting a stop to the drive, bringing us to the end of the first quarter. With both teams clutching up on defense, no more points are given up in this game. In a low-scoring first half, the Panthers took a 7-0 lead into the break.
Oh, it was a great win. I was a little bit worried right there at the end, but we pulled it out. When we needed to make a play, we found a way to make a play.
And what are some things that you think you can improve on for next week?
All the silly penalties. Lord have mercy. It's embarrassing. I didn't do a good job coaching them up. We got to eliminate the silly mistakes.
Huntsville went on to win the game 20-13. Reporting in Huntsville, Paige Meyer, WAAY 31 Sports.
Thanks, Paige. The JP2 Falcons are a team with something to prove this season. They've moved their home games to Joe Davis Stadium, but tonight they had to play on the road for the first time this year. It was the Wildcats against the Falcons. Westminster looking to move to 10-0 all time against JP2. Hey, Mr. Scott, what you gonna do? What you gonna do? Make those chains move through. Houston Scott with a screen pass to Saber Kim for the big gain. The Falcons defense then stands tall, though. Isaac Lee just gonna fly into the hole to bury the QB run. Good play by number 0, but then the Wildcats, number 0, strikes back. Carson Tinsley takes the handoff, shoots past every level of the defense. Long touchdown run that gets them ahead 21-7. I must shout out JP2 quarterback Joey Ross. It'd be cool if he had a receiver named Chandler Monica or something, but I digress. He takes the read option, picks up some valuable yardage, and that sets up a JP2 field goal through the uprights before the bands played their tunes, but Westminster does take the win 35-17. All right, Madison Academy also playing their first home game of the season. Their opponent, a DAR team, they dominated 55-0 last year. The Patriots run a toss play, but it's a fumble. Big number 50, A.J. Seaton all over it. Linemen dream of moments like that. This next play works like a dream. Charleston Owens out to Zion Williams. This duo, the biggest thing to hit private schools since Sperry's came out. The gain gets them close. Then Cam Childress takes the end around and goes around the defense and into the end zone. That's how you draw it up. Mustangs now up 2 scores, but the stampede only continues. Owens drops back. Look at this catch. Taj Phillips with the fingertip grab. Another big-time play by a big-time player. MA has bounced back in a nice way after a Week 1 loss. They've now got back-to-back wins. This one 63-6. My goodness.
Let's keep things in 4A Region 8 and check in on Randolph. David Lloyd's squad has made 5 straight trips to the playoffs, but they have yet to win this season. Tonight they took on a Plainview squad they beat by 21 last year, but it's this year, and Plainview took a major lead and beat them 54-7. How about a battle of the Wests? It's undefeated West Morgan and winless West Limestone, and West Morgan blows them out 49-0. Now, it's been a strange year for Fife. Paul Benefield's squad got blown out by Maplesville and then dominated Pisgah. Tonight they opened region play against Collinsville, and the Red Devils dominated again, 58-22. Well, it's been a great night so far, and we're just getting started.
Yeah, stick with us. Our defensive play of the week is coming up after this quick break.
You're watching Big Game Friday Night. Go Falcons! It's the McCurry Van and Car Rental Big Game Friday Night.
We're the Bob Jones Marching Band, and you're watching Big Game Friday Night.
Set! Fight song! Fight song!
Guess what, Max?
What?
That band got to play a lot tonight. 54-7. I hope they still got like air in their lungs, all the playing that they had to do. Unbelievable. And the drums, I hope their drums aren't worn out from all that scoring and all that playing the fight song today.
Maybe the medical tent was providing some oxygen. I mean,
yeah, we think about the players needing
like the
water.
tuba guy. I mean, come on.
Oh my gosh.
Can you
so
imagine
much
how much tuba was played?
Maybe they have like a backup tuba guy that can like throw in, like a backup quarterback
There's
situation.
so many tuba players.
Yeah, you got to have a backup tuba guy. And you also need a backup if the offense isn't working. You need some good defense.
Yeah, defense is so important, and that's why it's the time of the night where we turn our attention to the defense. We've seen so many big plays on offense. Let's head to the other side of the line of scrimmage.
That's right. Well, we talked about how much Bob Jones scored. Well, here was actually a good moment for James Clemens. What an interception there by Malik Hardy. And when you think about, greatness, you think about the Hardy boys, Jeff and Matt, tag team champions. They were known for their extreme moments in the WWE. That is an extremely great catch after 2 tips. And then he's like, I'm going to return this past midfield. So James Clemens did not win tonight. They got beat pretty bad, but they do get a good moment there, and I think they're a talented team. They'll bounce back.
Yeah,
so there you go.
We'll be submitting that for a SportsCenter Top 10 later tonight, but let's head back out to the Shoals and take a look at some 3A Region 7 action. Rogers and Sheffield meeting at Wright Stadium, and this rivalry that dates back to 1967. Rogers has won every game since 2012, and they get it done again tonight, winning 47-16. Out at Morris Hill, the defending 3A champs hosted Colbert County tonight, a team they've never lost to, and the tradition continues as the Panthers win big, 62-24. All right, well, we've got to call another timeout, but don't go anywhere.
Yeah, we've got a bunch of scores waiting for you on the other side of this break. Seen a lot of the big schools so far, but now let's go down to 2A and look at some Region 7 action. North Sand Mountain has scored 96 points this season and allowed just 7. Guess what? That's winning football, but that was before they took on Sand Rock tonight. North Sound Mountain shut them out, winning 41-0. How about we drop down to our lowest classification in 1A Region 8? Eider and Woodville battled it out tonight, and that game was 43-7, the final. Moving over to Region 7, Cherokee and Waterloo met tonight at Harris Stadium.
The Indians and Cougars first met back in 1932. Back then, you could actually buy stuff with a quarter. Waterloo is going to take this one, though, 52-46. Also good years to be alive. You know, you could buy stuff a lot cheaper.
Yeah, inflation, man. It's crazy.
You can't do anything with a quarter anymore, you know?
Yeah.
When we were kids, you could get, like, gum.
I went to the dollar store the other day, and it was like $4.
Doesn't even make sense. Well, that'll do it for our high school scores for tonight. But don't forget, WAAY 31 is also your home for SEC football.
Yeah, you can never forget that. Tomorrow at 11, we've got San Jose State against Texas at 2:30. Ole Miss and Kentucky. Remember, the Wildcats beat Lane Kiffin's squad last year. Then at 6:30, the main event of the evening is Michigan and Oklahoma.
Just an absolutely huge game there. That's going to be big for so many reasons. I can't wait to see what that Oklahoma team looks like in the Big House.
Yeah, I mean, they didn't have a great debut year in the SEC, but, you know, it's all about how do you respond and what improvements did you make. And what a huge early test for them. if they're going to be contenders in the SEC, I think we'll find out a lot about them first as they take on a really good Big Ten team. Bryce Underwood looks really good for Michigan.
And then if you wake up for that early game, we'll see if Arch Manning can bounce back against San Jose State.
He can't bounce back against San Jose State. I don't know about that. But Kentucky Ole Miss, keep an eye on that one as well.
And of course, we need to make a massive thank you to everybody who helps make this show possible, from production to our EP and all of our shooters on the sideline. Would not be possible without all of them. And of course, a massive thank you to you for tuning in every week and making WAAY 31 your home for high school football. To finish things off, Trevor, take it away.
Yeah, we're going to end things as we always do with our top lights of the week. Good night.
You have been watching a special presentation of WAAY